Hey, what's up guys? Matt Kill here for Slayer Gaming Nation. I'm here to bring you a basic rundown of everything that happened in today's EA press conference at E3 2012. EA had a pretty good lineup this year. They had a pretty simple format this time around. They had 10 developers come up with 10 different titles, unfortunately 3 of which were sports games. I'm not going to cover the sports games here in this commentary because I personally do not play sports games, so I can't really judge them. So, I mean, maybe the sports fans will be excited. Personally, it's not my cup of tea, so I will not be going over that. So the very first thing that EA decided to throw right at us as soon as the show started was Dead Space 3. I'm personally a huge Dead Space fan. Dead Space 1 is an amazing game. I've played it just about as many times. I don't even know how many times I've played it, but it was one of the best games I've ever played. Soon matched later on with Dead Space 2. The combination of the environments and the kind of, it's not like scary, but the kind of freakiness of the game, it just enthralled me in the gameplay. I would sit and play the game accidentally for hours on end, just getting immersed in the game. And based at what we saw this time at E3, I'm going to be hooked again. But there's a few concerns. Based on the gameplay that we got today during the conference, it looks like they might be shying away a little bit from the spookiness or the little bit of freakiness of the game. I mean, granted the necromorphs are there, but the gameplay seemed to be more of a typical third-person shooter as opposed to what Dead Space was. However, the addition to co-op to the game I think would be great. I've always really wanted to play Dead Space with my friends. Multiplayer in Dead Space 2 was fun. However, it just didn't feel the same as the actual single-player campaign. So I'm really looking forward to the co-op that they're going to have. Hopefully, though, like I said, it won't be too generic space action, and it'll still remain true to the Dead Space feel that we know and love from the previous 2 games. I'm personally very excited to see how the storyline continues on because they kind of left us with a little bit of a cliffhanger in Dead Space 2, but we'll see when it comes out next year. So after the amazing preview of Dead Space 3, EA decided that they were going to go to Madden. And like I said, I'm not going to cover that. They have some kind of new physics engine or something like that. Impressive technology, nonetheless, but I'm personally not going to talk about that. Soon after they talked about Madden, though, they decided to take it in a completely different direction with the introduction of SimCities. They brought Maxis Studio up, and they previewed 2 titles for SimCity. And the first one, I'm not a fan of. I'm going to tell you right out, flat now. The first one is called SimCity Social. It's basically SimCity on Facebook. Now, ask anyone that I'm friends with on Facebook, and they'll tell you I cannot stand those games flat out. And with the gameplay trailer, I saw it and I was like, it's just another stereotypical Facebook game. For those who are interested in it, go ahead. Me personally, I'm not that kind of gamer. I do not play those kinds of games. However, I've always actually liked SimCity. And SimCity 4 was one of my favorite games to play when I was a younger kid. It was, you know, good time killer, and it was a lot of fun, and you could do a lot of weird things with it. So when they also showed a trailer for a new SimCity that's coming out, I'm pumped, actually. I want to play it. And they currently have this new thing with some multiplayer components. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. I guess cities connect to cities and cities affect cities of other players. So we'll see when that comes out. We have not heard many details on that just yet, but we'll see when that comes out eventually. So after SimCity came the announcement I personally was waiting for. It was DICE Studios coming up for Battlefield 3 content. As you can probably tell, I am a Battlefield 3 player. I enjoy playing that game a lot. I already have their Back to Karkan expansion. I got it as soon as it came out, and I've been playing the game much more recently. When it first came out, I couldn't play it due to some computer performance issues, but now I play it a lot more. So they decided this time around they're releasing Battlefield 3 Premium. Now this might be a stab towards Call of Duty Elite with how they're performing it, but basically what it is you get access to all 5 expansions that are going to be released for Battlefield 3, including the Back to Karkan expansion that's already been released. And you get them 2 weeks earlier. You also get some new weapons, some new vehicles, and some new rewards for assignments and things like that within Battle Log. Note I want to point out for Battlefield 3 Premium is that it is released now for $50, and you get all content patches with that. Just as a note, the content costs a total of $75, so it is worth the deal if you play Battlefield 3 and you want to get all the expansion packs. So I personally will be getting it as soon as I have money in my bank account to do so. And actually Battlelog has already been updated for the PC version and most likely Xbox and PS3 versions for this new expansion. If I remember correctly, also PS3 Premium members also have access to the Close Quarters DLC now as this video is produced. So after Battlefield 3 came a nice little stab at Battlefield 3 as well with Medal of Honor Warfighter. This is the newest game coming to the Medal of Honor series based off of Medal of Honor that came out a couple years back based on the whole Tier 1 operatives. I sit here and I look at watch the gameplay that it had. I sit here and look at the trailer, and it has a very similar gameplay style of Medal of Honor that was released a few years back. But however, it's running on Frostbite 2, so it looked like Battlefield 3 as well. Like when you look at the visuals of the game, and actually I noticed with some of the animations they actually have some of the same animations too. But that's another story. The game's basically produced by DICE as well. But anyways, it has a weird feel that I was watching it. I couldn't help but it's the same way it was before, where they kind of took Battlefield 3 style gameplay and tried to just take a Call of Duty-esque feel of the game and just cram it together and just, this is the byproduct of it. I remember when I played the Medal of Honor beta when it came out, I was playing it and I couldn't help but feel that I was playing Call of Duty in a Battlefield environment. This is why I actually didn't wind up getting the game. I felt it was just too generic. I honestly hope that they break away from that this next game. We can't tell so far, and it's too early now to determine that, but I was a Medal of Honor fan, but recently this whole Modern Warfare deal that everyone's doing, I mean this includes Battlefield 3, which I love to play, it's getting on my nerves, it's getting old, so it's like it was refreshing kind of see Black Ops 2, but yet it wasn't, but that's another story. I guess the multiplayer for Medal of Honor is going to be based around playing for specific Tier 1 operatives based on the trailer. Again, not many details. Maybe we'll find out as E3 goes on and as the game approaches release. Now, this is where my memory kind of gets hazy, just kind of trying to remember. I do know there were 2 sports titles that were announced during this last segment. They had one for FIFA 13 and one about a partnership with UFC. So again, sports fans, look out for those. You might want those titles. We're going to pretend they didn't exist in this commentary just for the sake that I'm not covering them. So I'm going to move on to the next title, which is Star Wars The Old Republic. BioWare came on stage with Star Wars The Old Republic, despite the game already being released, to talk about new content that was coming to the game. Now, you'd think something like Battlefield 3 kind of thing would come on with this, because when you already have a release game and you come to a conference like E3 and you present a title, you want new content. So what did they do? They gave you new content, but in my honest opinion, it was kind of a lackluster update, because they said they're going to provide new content to the game, a new operation, a new companion, a new playable race, and an increased level cap. All things that are standard affair for an MMO. I personally do not play Star Wars The Old Republic anymore. I stopped after the first 2 months. So, but current Battlefield, not Battlefield, Star Wars The Old Republic fans might enjoy this content patch as it comes out, and it's always refreshing for new MMOs to pump out content and try to keep them thriving. And I see Rift doing the same thing, so hope for the best for Star Wars The Old Republic. It was a fun game while I played it, and I hope the Star Wars The Old Republic fans do enjoy this new content patch that will be coming out later on. The next title that came up got me excited. the next title that came up was Need for Speed Most Wanted. And no, this is not a rehash of the very popular Need for Speed Most Wanted that came back a long while ago that we remember nearly and dearly during our early teens or whatever age you are. For me, it was my early teens. And I personally saw this and I was excited for the most part. I couldn't help but realize that despite the fact that it was a Most Wanted title, it was Need for Speed, you know, fast cars, fast racing, you know, and it was based around its police system again, I could not help but feel that it looked very similar to Hot Pursuit. I remember playing Hot Pursuit, which was a fun game, but eventually it just kind of dulled out on me because of the lack of content in the game. I really hope this doesn't happen with the Most Wanted, however, because I really do enjoy Need for Speed titles. I go back and play Most Wanted, Carbon 2, just to replay them. I like replaying them, and they're fun to play, and I always want more content to play that. Like I said from Hot Pursuit, Hot Pursuit didn't really impress me as much as the previous titles did, so I hope for the best with this title, and we'll find out how it is later on this year. And then came the finale of the conference. How did they decide to end it? With Crytek and Crysis 3. I'm personally a Crysis fan. I love playing the Crysis games. Crysis 1 and Crysis Warhead and Crysis Wars, even though it's Warhead. I played so much back with my PC, back in a couple years back, a few years back. I don't remember how many years it's been now, but we played that game so much, both competitively, and it was just a great game to kind of screw around into. The modding community was fun with it and everything. Crysis 2 came out. I was very excited about Crysis 2 when that came out. However, Crysis 2 was kind of a letdown for me. Despite the fun campaign, the multiplayer did not last very long. For me, I played maybe 10 to 15 hours of the multiplayer before I got bored of it. Now, Crysis 3 comes out, and the first thing I immediately notice is that it's using almost the exact same engine as Crysis 2, which is to be expected. However, the gameplay looked almost identical to Crysis 2, which kind of has me concerned. It has me wondering, when the game comes out, is it going to be worth the whole $60 retail? Or am I going to have to want to wait for it to drop down in price to want to play it? I mean, right now, I'm yet to figure it out, because for all I know, the multiplayer component could be a lot of fun, back to what the Crysis 1 was like, even though the games are now completely different. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see on this. I'm personally not jumping up and down on this one, but it still looks like it'll be a good title. I'm not going to say it's going to be a bad title. It looks like it's going to be a good title. It's just going to be more of the same with Crysis 2. However, with the entirety of EA's conference, what's not to say that Medal of Honor is almost the same as Medal of Honor. Battlefield 3 is adding more content. Dead Space 3 is similar to Dead Space 2. Need for Speed Most Wanted is near the same for Hot Pursuit. So it's kind of a trend we're seeing, but that's a trend across all conferences, all publications. It's kind of a weird thing we have now going on in our society, not society, but our current time of video games, is we're seeing a lot of, I don't want to use the word rehashing, but something along those lines of work that's very similar to each other, and we're kind of starting to blend the lines of what game is what. And I personally hope that as E3 goes on, and maybe Nintendo's Wii U that they're going to be talking about tomorrow will inspire some new creativity, because the creativity seems to be starting to lack a little bit more, and things seem to be more based around like this Kinect thing, and I miss the days of back in the PS2 and Xbox era, and actually early Xbox 360 and PS3 era, where there's still a lot of creativity, but recently it seems it's gone downhill. Get me wrong though, they're still making some really good games, but it still feels more of the same. Not that's a bad thing though. So this is my opinions on EA E3. Obviously these are my own opinions, these are not based on anyone else's. Please check out our other videos we have for all our other conferences. Make sure you give us a like, subscribe if you want. Feel free to comment, and we'll answer any comments you go ahead and answer. And if you guys are feeling cheeky enough, you can go ahead and check out my own personal channel at youtube.com/MechHill5685. For now, I've been MechHill, and have a good one.